Hello, good evening. Hello,
Hi.
everyone. Welcome again to this week's TGIF Men's Circle Live Talk. Today, I'm co-hosting. My name is Michael. I'm co-hosting with my brother here, brother Chong. All right. But before we start, just allow us to introduce ourselves. Maybe brother Chong, you can go first.
My name is Chong Bin Kwan. I'm a practitioner in Golden Space, Malaysia. I think most of you are familiar with us now. We've been doing this. I think this is the fourth, uh, fourth issue, right,
Yes, yes, something like
of the
fourth issue. Yes,
TGIF
correct.
circle, right? And I'm a practitioner, and by day I'm a finance guy, finance and compliance. Actually, I work in a trading company in Kuala Lumpur. And welcome everyone to another session of TGIF Men's Circle. Mike, to
Thank
you, Mike.
you. Yes, thank you, Brother Chong. As all of you know, my name is Michael Wong. I'm also a practitioner at the Golden Space. I also have a 9 to 5 job working for a Japanese trading company, and I love to do this man circle because it really bring out the passion in me. Because as a man, I know what is the problem that we men face, and I we want to help as much as possible. That's why together with Brother Chong and another brother of us,
Okay.
YK. Today, unfortunately, he's not free. So we have this passion to to create awareness among the man circle that that things can improve. If you really put yourself and you really make yourself to express yourself. To express your emotion, to express your feelings. That's why for today's we're gonna talk. Today's topic is heart to heart talk. All right. Maybe all of you know what is this topic about. It is hati to hati cakap, a direct translation. What is
Uh,
heart to heart? Just looking at the topic itself is very simple. Heart to heart talk. Who doesn't know how to talk? But are you really talking from your heart? That is the question. That is the question I'm going to throw to all men out there. Have you really been talking from your heart, or you because or most of you just talk from your mind? Most of you hide behind the truth. What we want to say about what is the truth of what is the true meaning of heart to heart talk is to really communicate authentically. When you communicate authentically, you are saying truth to who you are. No more hiding behind the mask. You really speak out what you are feeling, especially your emotions, especially your feelings, how we men feel. Because I find that one of the problem that we all men face is we are unable to speak freely from our heart. you know why men can't just talk out from their heart. you know Maybe brother Chong, you can also bring out some of your experiences why men can't talk out from their heart, from your experience. What do you think, brother?
well, I suppose that's cause we weren't taught to do so.
Yes.
Yeah. Even as a boy, we would be taught to play soldiers and and wrestling. Maybe I used to do
Yeah.
that,
Mm.
wrestle with my cousins and even friends. So
Mm.
and nobody actually told me about you know expressing myself, and even the
Maybe
role
no.
models I had.
Yes, yes. Maybe
Yeah.
no. Maybe when we were brought. Maybe what. Maybe like me also. When I was brought up as a kid. No one. In my circle of friends, in my circle of life, nobody really taught me how to. What is the importance of to really communicate openly? Really have this heart to heart communication. Most of the time, my communication is based on a success, based on when I was schooling, it's based on schoolwork, it's based on success oriented. Your emotion are not our emotion are not important at all. Right? Maybe you feel the same also, right, brother?
Yeah, because our kind of speech, conversations are very lack the emotional dimension.
Mm.
I mean, especially for boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas somehow other girls are more attuned to it, and
Right.
and they are more allowed to do so. Whereas if we
Mm.
boys are to talk
Mm.
emotions
Mm.
and probably our fathers will probably say, "Hey, that's not the way a boy talks."
Correct, correct. Yeah, that's why I find that
Uh,
I find that we men is having so much difficulty to really communicate authentically, to really talk right from your heart, even with our partners. Even with our partners in this modern world. Sometimes with so much pressure working, with so much pressure working in the office, we're working trying to live this current life that we take for granted this communication that we should have with our family members, with our loved one, right? Maybe like my brothers always say to me, because we men, from the evolutionary perspective, but simple terms, the caveman area, that we men was like a hunter gatherers. Our main role at the time is just to collect, to provide food, to collect food, hunt for food, and to take care of the family. Nothing else is important. Our brain, the man's brain are not attuned to speak freely, because if you bring back to today's perspective, finding food is just providing the providing food, and a lifestyle to our family, and protecting family is what we should. Men's are all, we are all men's are all, learn to do, taught to do. This is the two most basic important aspect of being a man. And a lot, I don't. Yeah, it is important, but sometimes we men also struggle. We also face a lot of issue in order to achieve these two important criteria in life. We suffered silently. We suffered alone. And we don't know how to deal with our emotions. Right, brother?
Yeah.
Do you agree with what I say?
Yes, yes, most definitely. And we are so we men or we guys, we've been taught to focus on the outside, whereas no anything that's inside of us, it's not of it's not for us to feel about or think about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As Michael, as you said, my brother Michael, as you said, we are our main role is to actually bring food on the table, and we got to hunt. And I mean, even now, as we go out and work into the working world,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what we do. And we have to solve problems on the outside, and know what's lacking is there's no balance where we do not know how to
Mm.
solve the problems that are inside of us. And
Yes.
that's the and basically that defines the male dilemma, you know of what we are
Mm.
going through.
Yes, yes, yes. And what is important to really have the a heart-to-heart talk with your partners, or with your loved one, or even with your family members, is it can help us to improve our relationship. By having this open communication, because when you have this open communication, you actually allow your partners. Let's use our partner as an example. When you have a heart-to-heart communication with your partners, it really allows you to speak out from how you feel. Speak out how you are feeling, or how you are dealing on your daily life, beside than works. Because there is a lot of emotion could build up in your daily life, but without being able to express it out. We are having so much pressure, so much stress up in our life. you know but I understand that sometimes our partners may not be able to give us a solution, even though we are feeling all this emotion. But at least let them know how we are feeling emotion, so that at least they understand what we are going through, and at least that they will be able to on how give our space on how we want to deal some of the issue that we are facing. you know
True.
right? So yeah, and also open. When you have an open communication, you actually have you are actually being honest to yourself. You are actually honoring who you are. There's no more hiding. Right? And by telling your partners, you're actually respecting them, because when when you respect your partner, it's always based on trust, man. You don't simply go outside and tell people all your trouble, right? Right. And and you really and you really respect the situation that you are facing. That's why open communication is so important in this current situation, in this life that we are living now. And a lot of a lot of people take for granted, why they should have all this heart to heart talk. Like in my case, I nowadays, I make it a point, to really talk to my wife before we go to bed. No, I appreciate that moment, when we are before we really sleep, when we're on the bed, really, talk out some of the issue that we are facing, what is going on with our life, how we are feeling emotionally, you know, so that, at least she understand. Maybe she will not be able to provide me with a solution, but at least she understand what I'm going through. And at least, I also take initiative to understand what she's going through. Sometimes I put myself in her situation to really find out, what is going on. And that is why, it is so important that to have a heart-to-heart talk can really help us in our relationship. And I will have to say this, and I have to emphasize it, that we men, one of the issue that we men face is, we like to assume. We like to assume things that we think it will happen. We don't like to ask. That's why we don't communicate freely. We think and we assume, that is going to be the situation. And a lot of time we have trouble, we have issue. We ran into roadblocks. So that is why it is so important to really have a heart-to-heart talk with your partners, right? To really improve your relationship. Yeah. What do you think, brother? Any other
Yes.
benefits you?
Oops.
Yes. What is
I
that?
think, hang on. Can you see me? Because I
Yes,
cannot
yes, we can see
see.
you. We can see you.
Can
We can hear
see
you
me
and we
because,
can see you. Please continue.
because okay, because my on my side it seems I've gone blank.
Mm.
Anyway, can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, and I,
clearly.
I would like to point out to what you said just now, Brother Michael, about uh, just having somebody to listen to without even
Yes.
finding a solution. And that is actually, I noticed that that is actually one of fundamental differences between men and women. Where men, we talk, to solve problems, to
Mm-hmm.
find solutions. But I
Yes.
noticed that women, by and large, it is not about finding solutions, but it's about
Right.
the expression. They
Right.
would like to
Right.
talk things out so that we
Mm.
understand that, because with women, I noticed that it's very important for their partners
Yeah.
to engage with them.
Yeah.
You
Maybe it's
know,
like a form of bonding, right?
yes,
Yeah. By having
no,
conversation for
yeah,
women is maybe like a form of bonding.
yes, and this is why they want to know everything about their man or their partner, and no, and it's very important that they are not lied to,
Mm-hmm.
because they really want to know what's going on. And for them, even when they talk about their problems, it's actually not to find a solution.
Mm-hmm.
No, it need not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily be to find a solution. Not to say
Mm-hmm.
it's not to find a solution. It need not necessarily be to find a
Mm-hmm.
solution. But
Mm-hmm.
as you say, it's actually to actually connect,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
engage with each other and connect,
Mm.
and to be, to be in the substance of relationship.
Right, right, right. Yeah, because we men, as what you said, a lot of times we only speak out when there
Yeah.
is a problem, when we felt that we need to find a solution in a problem, then only we speak out, or something that we want to try out, Otherwise, we just keep
Yes.
quiet. We don't engage as openly as women,
Yes. Correct.
all right? But I have a question here. There is a question here that is very interesting. It mentioned that, how do I know if I'm having a heart-to-heart talk? For me, when you speak openly, or when you speak out from your heart, you will feel, you speak out, you will know that when you speak out, when you're talking from your heart, is when you talk about your vulnerability, your weakness, and you don't feel ashamed talking about, your weakness. Let's say for example, today I'm very emotional, I'm very sad for certain things that happen in my life. you know I just speak out, why I'm feeling sad in this moment, to my partner. And I will have to talk more detail about how I felt, and I will have no shame on expressing it out. That is where but if you're holding back, when you're holding back details, or you're holding back how you feel, that is not communicating authentically, that is not coming through your mind. That is not coming through your heart. It is more coming through your mind, right?
Yes, and I would agree with you too, Mike, on this, because a difference between a heart-to-heart talk and a non-heart-to-heart talk, which is basically a mental talk, is
Mm-hmm.
we do not filter. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we do
Yes.
not filter.
No filter. No filter.
Yeah,
Yes.
it just comes out to the heart. But not to say that when we feel upset, we hit out at the other person. I don't
Mm-hmm.
mean that. No, not in the sense of not the kind of filter,
Mm-hmm.
but the filter of our of what we want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and basically, as what Michael says, is to be authentic in our communication, in our expression, without the filter, because the
Mm-hmm.
mind is full of filters. No, we are afraid we'll upset the other person. We are afraid that how the other person will think about us, and so on and so forth, which actually
Mm-hmm.
is an obstacle to true
Yeah,
communication.
yeah, yeah. I agree with what you say, Brother Chong. Because when you don't give the full details on how you feel, or you don't give the full details for the other part or the other person to understand, which means you're actually filtering, you're actually processing what to
Yeah,
speak out,
yeah.
and that is where you are not talking from your heart. You are actually talking from your mind, because your mind is filtering what to say and what not to say.
And
Yeah.
it's very much about our own emotions, our own feelings.
Right.
We can express our feelings without having to be offensive about it, without
Right.
having to sound selfish about it. you know it's just like how actually, you know I would say, for example, how a woman expresses herself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. And also, when you will know when you talk from your heart that you don't feel judgmental. You are not judging
Yes.
yourself when you speak out, and you're not judging the other partner for listening. Right? You don't feel that. Sometimes people have that feeling, right? They have that feeling, oh, as much I don't know whether the other person will understand me or not. I don't know whether that person will be able to help me or not. There's a lot of judgment coming. There's a lot of mind chattering
Yeah.
coming up to your mind,
Yeah.
saying that judging,
Yeah.
and also
Uh,
fear. Fear is the one of the biggest obstacle that we men face. Because men, many times, we are afraid to lose face.
mhm,
We fear
mhm,
because our ego is so big. We fear that when we speak out from our heart, when we speak out freely, people will see our weakness.
mhm,
People will see through us. We want to, like our friends say, jaga image.
mhm,
Those
mhm.
kind of egoistic thinking, it's no longer useful, it's no longer important at this age nowadays. It is better for in my opinion, it is better for us to solve what emotional issue we are facing by speaking out, but rather than keeping everything inside, just because we want to juggle our image,
And that
taking
is
care of our
actually
image.
more damaging. And this suppression actually, causes a lot of
Mm.
unwellness,
Hmm.
physical unwellness in us. So because what we hold back creates a lot of stress and tension
Right,
inside
right,
us.
right, right. And one another thing is that from experience, it's also important to speak to the right person.
Yes.
Like in my case, when if I were to speak out about my emotion to my friends, they will not be able to understand. Most of them will not be able to understand. Like Brother Chong, he's one of my, he's one of my spiritual friends. In this circle, I can speak freely about my emotion to him without being judged. Because he will be able. He's one of the uh, conscious-minded person that I ever known. Who is able to to guide me. Who be able to understand the situation. So I can speak. So he's a very good choice of people that we should seek to. So it's also important to. That's why it's also important to speak to the right person. Otherwise, you will get the wrong solution. I remember those days when I speak to my friends, they will just say, "I don't know, it's okay, it's okay. Things will be better by its own. Just continue doing what you do." But that is not the situation. That is why speaking to the right person, it is very important. And I think that our spouse, our partner, is one of the best candidate for us because they have our interest at heart.
Yes,
Right?
that is
No
so true.
matter, yeah, no matter what we are going through, no matter what we are going through, no matter what phases of our life, our partner, especially our spouse, they always have our interest at heart. They won't be, they will just tell us straight. Like my wife, he will just tell me straight, you know, what I'm doing wrong. He will tell me straight in the face what I'm doing wrong, you know, how things are not working, not how things are not working when with the way I'm doing now. Those kind of honest answer, those kind of honest advice, we want to hear now. Not like those, will make you happy, will, those kind of answer anymore. So that is
Yeah,
why. So
or no, yeah, or no, words that actually, some people, they tell us what we want to hear,
yes.
when actually, it may not actually be the right choice, of action or whatever. So, which can actually be counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the eggshells that we have to trade on, as
Mm,
even as we, share with someone.
mm,
So, yes, Mike, I agree with you. Know
yeah.
that who you choose to talk with is actually pretty
Mm, mm,
important.
mm, mm.
And
And
uh,
continue,
sorry,
continue.
yeah, no,
Sorry, sorry. Go
it's
ahead.
okay.
Like
Uh, yeah, you
continue.
you did- you do it.
Just
Um,
and also like what you mentioned just now in like embracing conflicts. One of the reason I would felt that why conflicts are always happening in a relation is because of communication also. Because a lot of times it's just maybe very simple thing, communication. You didn't get the message across, the right message across. That's why there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of assumption. There's a lot of trust issue. If you just can just if there's a conflict, just face it, speak out how you feel, you know, let them know how you are feeling, what you're going to do to solve it, and find a solution together rather than just avoiding it. And many times, we men, we avoid conflicts. Yeah, we avoid conflicts because our intention, we felt that, men don't like to have conflict. Our intention was not to have conflict. That's why we avoid conflict. But that is not the solution. By the more we avoid, our partner will get more worried. They'll get more agitated. Is now it is that's why it is important to embrace that conflict, to face it, speak out, speak out from your heart. Yeah, that's why it's
yes,
so important. Go ahead, brother.
yes. Um, so on this matter of conflict, basically conflict is a disagreement or a clash, an argument, for example, between two people, and at the base of it is actually, it's actually a misalignment between two
Mm-hmm,
parties now, where we don't
mm-hmm,
see eye to eye.
mm-hmm,
And a lot of it, as what Michael pointed out just now, has to do with fear,
mm-hmm.
as well as our ego. Because the interesting thing about a man woman relationship, is how come when we are dating, things are like so perfect,
Yeah.
you know and then, but after having spent some years together, living together as husband and wife, things seems to turn out differently.
Yeah, and you go apart sometimes, right?
Yeah. So I've been thinking about such things, and I've and
Mm-hmm.
I've and no one thing that I've figured out is probably it's because, when we are dating, we tend to s- see things, with in rose-colored glasses, huh?
Everything is
So
beautiful.
yeah, everything is smooth and good, because, and no, we have a common self-interest, which is
Okay.
actually, to actually get hitched up, yeah, because when you're dating, some or other, our hormones are working differently, yeah. You're
Mm-hmm,
not living together yet, so
mm-hmm.
the focus, and the interests are all different,
Yes.
than after a marriage. So and that, but then when we come together, as we live together, and then we find out things about each other that we didn't
Mm-hmm.
notice before, or maybe noticed but we didn't really, either we choose
Pay
not to pay
attention to
attention
it.
to it,
Yeah. We
yeah,
just close the
or
blind eyes.
we sweep it under the, close one eye or sweep it under the carpet, and then when after, when you're in a marriage, then becomes different because you have to live with the person 24 hours a day,
Right. You
and
see
that's
everything.
when,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have to share the space with the same person day in
Right.
and day out,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know. So this is when we notice, the little flaws or even the big, and of
Right.
course, obviously
Right.
the big
Right.
flaws in the other person.
Mm-hmm. So how do
So
you overcome it? How I think Brighton, I think you've been married for almost 20 years now. I think you have a
yeah,
very steady and happy life, happy marriage. So how do you overcome this what you're saying just now, when you live together, you start to see things differently, you start to you start to learn to have the space with the other person. You have the 24 hours. So how do you mind giving some advice on how do you overcome that, or how do you realize that?
well, no, yeah, I'll just sort of share, a bit of
Mm-hmm.
this. I mean, I must say that, doing what I do, doing what we do, which is,
Mm-hmm.
doing meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and finding out more about myself, having
Mm-hmm.
certain realizations
Mm-hmm.
about,
Mm-hmm.
all spiritual things and all that has helped me a lot. Have helped me a lot,
Okay.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in in seeing this part of myself.
Mm.
Like let's put it this way, like in a relationship, is a relationship is actually a partnership, right?
Okay.
Right? It's actually like even like a business partnership.
Mm-hmm.
When I was single, no, I didn't have to share anything, you know, and I didn't have to be responsible
Okay.
in a relationship or in a partnership. But once I got married, I realized that, hey,
The
now I've got to share my life.
responsibility,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Responsibility to your wife, responsibility to the
Yes,
family, right?
yes, yes,
And you have to provide, you have to share so many things, you
yes.
have to provide so many things. And how do you feel, or how do you manage to have that awareness?
It's because I started, like what I said just now, about noticing things in the other person, in
Right.
my wife, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and she noticing, the not so uh, well, the not so positive things about me as
As
well,
well,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so we exchange this all these
Mm.
negative
Mm-hmm.
observations about each other,
Yeah.
right?
Do you talk about it? Did both of you, like, really talk about, the flaws that you both of you having?
Well, I must say that, of course, at times there are, of course, I would say some of these interactions, not so
Okay.
positive interactions,
Right.
heated interactions, right?
Okay.
But after that, no, I I do like realize, that, hey, that wasn't a right thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I would actually like come out to apologize, if
Mm-hmm.
it was indeed my
Wow.
fault.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
and of course, at any point in
Mm.
time, now I wouldn't say
Mm.
that it's not about fault. You see, it's
Mm.
about it's about our choice of whether we want harmony or we
Mm.
want disharmony in a
Okay.
family, right,
Mm.
or in a relationship. Now,
Okay.
for me, I take it out as my responsibility to make the first
Mm-hmm.
move, because
All
it
right.
actually does stick to the tango, right? In
Mm-hmm.
any
Yes.
situation, whether
Okay.
it's making peace or making war, it takes two to tango. So no, and I take it upon myself to be the first one to make the move, because I say somebody's got to make the move
Mm-hmm.
for the other person to respond.
Right.
But if the
Right.
other
Right.
person does not respond positively, maybe it's not the right time. Yeah, maybe
Mm.
I should give her some space, again, and give her time to actually, sit on it, and maybe let some
Mm.
steam off, you know. Because there's another thing that I've noticed about women, right? It's that, they whenever they are upset, they need space. It is not like for me personally, I would like to solve the thing immediately. Let's talk about it now, and I mean, the male side of me, let's talk about it now and solve the problem now. No, let's not,
Typical man
yeah,
reaction. Yeah.
yeah,
Don't wait anymore.
yeah, solve it now, But
Okay.
I noticed that doesn't work, right? Because
Mm.
if she's pissed off, she'll not want to talk to me or, be near me.
Mm. I see. I see.
Because I noticed this, so I I I have to sacrifice my shall I say my desire to
Mm,
to solve the thing, but cater to a need to have space. So that's where I learn patience as well.
I see.
So
Great.
like
Great.
in a relationship, no, in a partnership, huh, I would say relationship, partnership, same thing. You know, it is a there has to be a give and take. It's just like a
All
business
right.
partnership where the other person has a right to, you know, to manage the partnership as I do.
Mm,
And there must be some compromise, I would say, on each other's part.
all
And
right.
for me, I've realized that it is always, if I want to solve the problem, it's best that I, you know, take active action to to resolve the issue.
Yeah. Great. Great.
So by and large, because harmony to me, as I've learned, through
Mm,
through my practice and all that,
mm.
it's actually so important.
Yes, correct, correct. Indeed,
Yeah,
indeed,
yeah,
that is very important. Yeah, we have a comment here from one of the audience, right? From Master Umesh. Hi,
yeah.
Master Umesh, how are you doing? He mentioned that open hearts communication bring out our true selves expression, which opens to amazing healings, understanding, more love, and much more. Yes, indeed,
Yes,
very true. The more we express ourselves, the more the other person will be able to understand what we are going through, and then eventually it also helps us to understand ourselves better. That will really bring out a better relationship for both parties. For me, a relationship is an ongoing process. Just that you are married doesn't mean that partnership ends there. It is just the beginning of that process of relationship. It takes a lot of it takes effort
yes.
to really build a lasting and healthy relationship, right? Yes, we have another comment here. Very true, men need to deal with our own emotion too. Neglecting it would be kind of suppressing it. Maybe, brother, you want to comment on this?
Mm, yes. We have to face confront the thing, head on. Head on, not in terms of clashing, or in terms of fighting it, you know,
Mm,
but to harmonize with it, to embrace it, like what today's topic is about.
yeah,
Part of today's topic is
yeah,
about embracing conflict,
yeah, embracing
because
conflict in a relationship.
yeah,
Yes.
you know, now let us go back to the time, when we were dating. Let us remember the why of why we're in the relationship. Now,
Yes.
what's why did we choose to be in a relationship with this person? You
the
know,
reason the
yeah, the
reason right?
reason, right? The reason
When
why.
if I just cut in, when you are
Yeah,
dating,
please.
your
Yeah.
reason is to be together. You want to find the right partner, and when you found it, what is the reason after that, right?
Yes.
To
Yes.
start a family, to have a long lasting to have a partner with you, to have somebody with you who spend the rest of their life with you. Just now, there is another comment that came out just now. Can we just pull out the comment again? Yes, totally agree. Being patient with each other and learning to compromise are indeed very important in a relationship or partnership.
And I'd like to say a hi to Master Umesh.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance just now. Hi, Master
Yeah.
Umesh.
There's
Thank
another
you.
comment here. There's another comment. But will the sacrifice end up suppressing inner feeling? How to deal with that balance?
Now, maybe I'll
Yes, go ahead.
say something on this. Yes, sorry, can you read that again? But will sacrifices.
But will the sacrifice end up suppressing inner feeling? How to deal with that balance?
Yeah. Um, this is, earlier on we said, Michael said about not suppressing it, and actually the whole thing about open communication or compassionate communication is to speak truthfully. Yeah, it's not to
Yes.
suppress. Now, to speak truthfully in an emotionally even way, not not to vent out, but to speak very,
Frustration.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not to vent out frustration, but to speak, with kindness, with patience, at an even tone,
Mm-hmm.
to let the other person know what you're feeling.
What you're going through, what
Yeah,
you're
what you're
feeling,
going
right?
through. Yeah, it's not to, solve the problem. As what
Right.
we mentioned,
It's
but
more
it's
like to
just
let
to,
the
yeah,
to let the other partner
yes,
understand what you are going through in that particular
yes.
moment,
and,
right?
and this is why perhaps before we start on such compassionate or open communication thing,
Mm-hmm.
we should have some, you can talk to your partner, and lay out some ground rules first as to how we should manage this communication,
Mm-hmm.
until it becomes a habit, until we get
Right,
used to
right,
it,
right,
and
right.
it goes very smoothly and becomes, the habitual,
Mm.
the normal
Mm.
way of speaking.
Yeah,
Because
maybe the
right now,
first. Yeah,
yeah,
correct, correct. What I just want to what you said just now is very correct. At least to have some ground. You maybe we can just say something like, okay, we're gonna say this one without judgment,
yes,
not
yes,
judging ourselves and not
yes,
judging the other partner. To
and
have
not for, yeah,
open, yes, to have an open minded on what we are, the person is sharing out, because it takes a lot of courage for a
yep,
person to really share out their
yes.
emotion. You know.
And so that, both parties understand each other, and you have a common objective, in the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually for understanding,
Mm-hmm.
for the connection, uh, for the deep, appreciation of each other's feelings,
Mm-hmm.
rather than, to solve a problem, or to fight, or to say I'm
Mm-hmm.
right. And there, no,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to point out, the other thing about human interaction is we always want to be right. Yeah, and perhaps that's one of the things that is in a way of
Creating
open
all this
communication.
conflict. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And no, and on the balance part, no, I like to comment on the balance part. Yeah,
Mm.
no, the balance, or the harmony, and all this will come in. The alignment, will come in
Mm.
when we are seeing eye to eye, which is to say we have the same objective.
Right.
Yeah, that is alignment. When we
Mm.
have a common goal, when we have a common way of doing things, that's alignment. So this is why, as Michael says, perhaps setting the ground rules, would help in establishing such open communication.
Right. 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 Correct. Correct. Very well said, brother. There is another comment here. What if woman is the party that is not considerate? How can men have heart to heart talk? Let me repeat again. What if woman is the party that is not considerate? How can men have heart to heart talk?
It's a reality. If I may, just a short one, then maybe Michael like to
Yeah, yeah, you can go ahead
add to
first.
that, add to what I'm going to say.
Okay.
It's a reality that none of a lot of people, or many, it's not uncommon for people to fall into wrong relationships. Yeah, some or other, like I said just now, when you are dating, some or other we are blinded, or whatever. I don't know, but it is possible that after marriage you find that, you are in a nightmare. And a
Mm,
lot of times, it may not be, not say a lot of times, right? Maybe 50% of time is the is it's no it's the man who's the an antagonizer. Maybe the other 50% of the time is the woman who's the antagonizer. It doesn't matter, right?
it
It doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. Yes.
It's really what we want out of a relationship
Right.
or the partnership. I
Mm,
wouldn't call it marriage, but the relationship, huh?
mm,
It can even be with a parent or with a child, right?
mm,
Not
mm,
necessarily be with a
mm,
romantic
mm.
loved one. So in this case, you know, we have to decide whether, I mean, I must say very truthfully here and honestly, openly, that we must decide whether this relationship
Mm-hmm.
is actually like can sustain or not over the
Mm,
long term,
mm, mm,
and
mm,
whether we want to take the effort and the responsibility to sustain it, to take action to
mm,
sustain it.
mm, mm.
Now it's a choice, right? It's a choice.
It's a choice,
So as
correct?
to whether it's yes or no, it's for the individual to decide.
Right.
But if you choose to actually want to remain in this relationship, or to sustain this relationship, then there
Mm.
must be, then we must take the initiative, and positive action
Right,
to
right.
uh, to, to
Mm.
to do so.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
and
I-
a lot of times, patience and some just now somebody spoke of patience and compromise and
Mm.
acceptance.
Mm.
Because right now you will understand that it's either you retain this partnership or you end it,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
I mean, even
Mm.
like a business partnership for him
Right.
is
Right. Right.
I'm using the example of a business partnership.
Mm. Mm.
I mean, if it's not there's no
Yeah.
profit in
Yeah.
this, then why
Yeah.
why do we carry on, right?
Yes, just now you mentioned a very important point to this comment. Actually, maybe in the beginning, you might find, let's say, a woman in this context is not considerate, but eventually that is not important, right? Whether who is not considerate, but we must have the initiative. You mentioned we must have the initiative, which I truly agree. We must have the initiative. We must have the awareness, to bring that conflicts into, you know to have the awareness and initiative to really speak out, to find a common solution to what we are facing, right? And it is only through, really speaking out, really speaking out from your heart. No judgment, no judgment at all.
And I must say lah, yes, Mike, I agree with you, and I must say, to add to that, a lot of discipline, a lot of
Right.
emotional discipline on our part. Like me, if I was in my younger days, now I would say that, no, of course, I know I'm not who I was in those days. I was a very impatient. I was a very
Mm-hmm.
impatient person, and
Mm.
a lot of anger, yeah,
Mm.
and but along the way, like I said, through
Mm.
practice, through meditation, and through golden space, awaken the divine youth, I've learned so much about myself, and I know that
Mm.
whatever is to be in my life, is up to me. Yeah,
Mm.
so I take responsibility for that, and I found out that you know the discipline of patience, of acceptance, of forgiveness, of even
Mm.
actually kindness, to ourselves
Mm.
and to the other
Mm.
person, are so important. Now,
Mm.
I'm not saying that patience and all that is a one-way street, that we
Mm.
must be patient with the
Yes,
other
yes,
person, and
yeah.
we must accept the other person. It's also be patient with ourselves and accepting
Right, right,
ourselves
right, right.
and
Yeah.
forgiving ourselves.
Yes. Mm.
So it's a two-way street.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
And but
Actually,
and these are very
yeah,
important to sustain
yeah.
that.
Actually, to really understand this topic, it takes a lot. We cannot just cover the whole thing in this
Yes, definitely
short
not.
live talk. That's why, this topic, heart to heart talk, as we mentioned just now, the benefits, just we just do a quick run through on the benefits just now, is, and we can improve our relationship through an open communication, and we can embrace conflict in a relationship. But if you guys want to know more about how to, really have a heart to heart talk, we welcome all of you to come to our men's circle support group, which was going to be held on the 16th of June, 8:30, physically. We've done once physically, and we are very happy. We all the men, they open up and speak out. So feel free to join us on this men's circle support group on the 16th of June, 8:30.
All are welcome.
Right.
All men are welcome.
All men are welcome, right? And we're almost coming to the end of today's show. And don't forget that for tomorrow's live talk, the topic is family dynamics in a single parents family. A live talk with Dr. Iwa Wong is at 3:30. Sorry, at 3 o'clock tomorrow, right?
This is a
Feel
BMS
free.
live talk, right?
Yes,
Body mind soul
family. Yeah,
management live
family
talk.
dynamics in single parent family. All right. So thank you very much. I thank you all of you for coming to the live talk today. Right. And we're really happy to see all of you again. And we hope to see all of you again in our next live talk. Live talk. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
And
much, everyone.
goodbye.
Have a
Thank
very good night.
you.
Have a
Have a
great
very good
weekend.
night. Thank you.
Thank you.